right, so here back with Cindy. Welcome. So, we want to kind of talk about briefly preparing for a tournament. There's all kinds of methodology that people might employ. So we're just going to kind of give some general things, maybe stuff that we do, or kind of like some even like different aspects you want to be kind of thinking about, right? And a lot of it's like mental, and then of course the physical stuff. So, anything in particular that is at the top of your mind, Cindy?
It's not like an academic test where you can jam pack anything. Even academically, you can't jam pack anything. So I wouldn't. Well, one, if it's leading up to it, it's already like 3 days away. There's nothing you can do at that point. I think just work on your game, work on what you have. Don't try to like stress about it too much. But I think just prioritize your physical and mental health. So like eating good food, sleeping a lot, don't injure yourself. Make sure you're on weight, things like that.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Cause yeah, like you can't learn a new technique a few days. Well,
And master it.
Yeah, exactly. You might be able to learn it, or you understand the ideas, but it won't be part of your game so quickly. At least maybe there's like some phenom that can like pull it off, and like they learn it one day and then they pull it off in a big match the next day, but it's usually not like integrated into your way of doing things like so quickly, or you have to kind of spam it. So we did a video about like the snap downs in the Olympics. So Vinesh Phogat was just like snapping down like all these other women from all around the world, but it's just like that she was doing that in practice a lot. So it has to be like that, where it's like you got to kind of integrate it into your system. So that's kind of the way you want to be thinking about it, right? So any the other things you kind of mentioned were even like the physical or the mental aspect. So anything you do to kind of relax and not think about it, or just think about it.
Think about it a lot, but I don't stress over it. Meaning like I try not to worry who my opponent is. Like, what if this, what if that? Obviously I have a game plan. Like I know I'm good at this, so I'm going to try to get to my best position. I'm going to try to be where I'm most advantageous. But I have a life outside of BJJ. I have a life outside of grappling. So I try to do things that make me happy and still make me relaxed, and like do my other hobbies or whatnot, because the tournament isn't like it isn't gonna, it's not the end of it all. So yeah. I try to do things outside that still make me happy, and obviously try not to obsess or stress too much over it, especially who my opponent is, because that's not going to benefit anyone. It's stressing over it is just adding anxiety for no reason.
Yeah, I think it reminded me you didn't know one of your opponents in a tournament you had in San Jose, but she's an accomplished like wrestler, and you still beat her. You submitted her. So,
but if I knew that beforehand, that would have killed me.
Yeah. It would have taken you down, taking your confidence down. Yeah. No, that's like a really great point. So a lot of times it is just that, like trying to play your game, right? Just get to the positions that you know best, because you can't know everything, right? That's the even a lot of people who are black belts, they say like, once I get my black belt, that's when I feel like I'm actually starting to learn or something like that. So you can never know everything about everything or about anything, right? So that should kind of take a load off, or you should think of it as something that can take a load off your mind, or it's like you gotta think of it like, say if you do a tournament, you think about like, say if you do well or not. It's just a test of how you are that day, right? And doesn't have anything to do with your identity, doesn't have anything to do with your self-worth, right? And like you said, you have a life outside, so your family is still gonna love you, your friends are still gonna love you, your pets are still gonna love you, right? They still need you, right? But have you heard like some athletes will say like, oh, they really kind of like hyper focus on it, and they're like, I envision how the match is gonna go from the beginning to the end. Like, do you ever do anything like that? I don't. It doesn't sound
No.
like it, right?
No. I mean, I have a plan for how I want it to go, but I don't manifest it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think the priority here should just be having fun. Like, do your best.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a really great point, because what we've seen, and even in collegiate wrestling, so we've seen the rise of Penn State, where you have like traditionally like the Dynasty University, Iowa. You had their coach Dan Gable and the subsequent coaches, the Brands brothers, really. I'm sure the Brands brothers are probably a little bit nicer than Dan Gable, I guess, but you'd have like kind of like this pushing where this idea where you got to be grinding all the time, and you can look up like Dan Gable's talks to his students, and all about he's really kind of a forceful guy, but you see Penn State talking more about play and having fun, and then their competitors are just like dominating. So they've become like one of the best, if not the best, wrestling universities. And I think in that way, when they're thinking of play and fun, then they're able to do a lot of creative moves while they wrestle. So one of the things I'm thinking about is like the what they call the Winn-Dixie move, where it's like someone shoots in for the double leg, and then they start using a head scissors with their legs to get the guy over, which is totally legal, but you just aren't seeing stuff like that, which is actually goes back to like catch wrestling and stuff, where like people were using their legs, using the head scissors to get someone down to pin them. You see stuff like that happening at Penn State. So I think there is a lot to be said about like kind of like knowing that's not the end of the world, and just trying to have fun and like considerate play, which even the Brazilians always talk about, I play this kind of guard, or I play this or whatever. So yeah, you probably want to be thinking of it in that way.
And I think I lost my train of thought. Hold on. Learning how to be under pressure. You can't, even if you technically lose a competition, you don't lose anything except money. But like, you don't lose anything. You only have to gain.
Yeah, like the experiences.
Yeah, like learning how to wrestle or grapple under pressure, learning how to deal with an opponent who is good on takedown, learning an opponent who likes to pull guard, learning whatever, right? You only have something to gain. So, like, no matter how it ends, you gain something.
Yeah, actually, that's what I noticed too. So it's like over the years, like, say if you have a training partner and they go compete, and then like the next time you roll with them, it's like not for some reason, it's because they competed, but it's like they're just like they've gone to the next level, right? Like, they're just even if they lose, it's like they're just a little bit sharper. It's like something about them has leveled up a little bit, even after a loss. So it's like I've always thought that after competing, win or lose, you're just better at it, because you were under pressure. You might have had to go up against a few people, and you saw different body types and different approaches to the match. So like you said, it's like you actually gain even if you lose. So try not to feel so bad, and again, it's not part of your identity if you lost, or you're not a loser, right, or anything like that. It's just try to have fun, and then just try to be the best, or try to continue getting better at your sport. Actually, that makes me think of one of my students pointed out there's another YouTuber in China who Ramsey Dewey, who I guess he interviewed a senior citizen who had done Sanda kickboxing all his life, and I think it was like 80 or in the 70s or something, and just the guy sparred with Ramsey, and like the senior citizen just like destroyed him. And then I guess in the podcast, Ramsey said like how long did it take you to get this good? And then the guy's like, it took me 80 years to get as good as I am today, because it's today that we're aspiring, right? So yeah, it's always like this continuous process of improvement. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to keep this one short today. I think the whole mental aspect and the training aspect is important. So, do you have any last words?
Have fun, do your best. Don't stress about it too much.
Yeah, yeah, great advice. Really. Yeah, because sometimes we get a little too much anxiety beforehand, but and that's fine. That's fine. So don't feel like you don't have to have that or whatever. But yeah, just know it's not the end of the world, and yeah, it's a big learning experience. All right, so we'll see if you have any questions. Comment down below. We'll be happy to talk about. We'll be happy to give our opinion on anything. Right, so feel free to ask. All right, so we'll see you in the next video.